Good afternoon, everybody. We'll start welcoming you here to Gov Directions Gov School. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. When you first come into the room, you're on mute, and we'd like for you to maintain that mute while we're having our session today. It'll help with the background. We'll let everybody let's get started here a couple minutes after. This is one of our quick sessions that we do just to help you out with learning how to not only find but win government contracts. And I'll explain that in just a few minutes as we get started here. This is live on YouTube, so you are welcome to revisit it after our session and watch it on YouTube. I started here a few minutes after the hour. So we want to start thanking everybody for joining us today, both on YouTube as well as here in this live room. At the very end of our session, I'll stop and stop the recording for YouTube, and I'll let you have an opportunity to ask questions if you'd like. Total time will be about 10 to 15 minutes. Well, I'll go ahead and get started here today. I wanted to thank you for joining us. We'll let others come in the room as we proceed. My name is Mark. I'm one of the founders of Gov Directions. So we've been in the sector since 1998 and a primary aggregator of at using the govdirections.com domain since 2006. And we now, of course, have the rfpdelivery.com and as of 2022. So now we're celebrating really our 20th year of govdirections.com and moving on to now the fourth year of RFP delivery. And both of them are similar in nature. And I had a question the other day and I thought maybe I should take a moment just to explain how we are doing what we do, and what's the best way to actually search our systems. And not the standard way of searching, like you might go to an online search tool and like Google or Yahoo or some others. It's a little bit different since we're pulling from a live database of information. I usually start off with this quick slide here just to kind of explain our overall goal and objective and why we do what we do. But we provide a research as a service. We take what is considered a fragmented marketplace, the local, state, and federal sector, not broken by any sense. We actually design our system this way, but fragmented. And we have in this United States a home rule philosophy, meaning we want decisions and procurement to happen as localized as possible. Okay, so the city council, the parks department, the parks board, the transit system board, the airport board, they're making decisions on how they spend money. And that creates a level of fragmentation from the federal government to states, cities, counties, schools, and those special districts. Out of 140,000 total agencies within the United States procuring in some way. And I use a puzzle box to kind of illustrate a process. Just those agencies altogether, probably about 2,500 on average now, active bids issued every single day. And we gather them for you. And so we're like opening up that puzzle box, thousands of pieces sometimes until you actually start putting it together. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. But when you get those in pieces and you're able to search for the exact right piece, you can put it where it belongs and you can move forward. And that's what we try to do for you as a service. And RFP delivery is our mechanism to put that information in front of you. Now we have other services. We have an app. We can do it mobilely. Of course, we help you with your capability statement. We also help you with, writing in an experiential way, I mean, learning by doing. And then, of course, everybody's all into AI these days. And so we do have AI tools to help you. But our main objective is to take this quick database and allow you to search very quickly those active bids that match you. I'll show you just real quick, though, as a part of the process, we have a geospatial presentation. So you can actually come in and see every bid down to the block level now, all across the United States and Canada. But you can drill in and you can then limit yourself to particular areas. So if you look at accounting, audit, and finance, it'll show you just where those projects are at. So different ways to actually search. But easiest way to actually come in is to come in and take one keyword, and I'm going to stick with the theme of audit now, and just pull out a word. So you come in and I do the word audit and search. Quick, ready to go. One word goes in, shows you every bid that's active that has the word audit in it. Okay, so that can actually be a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot of times, sometimes that might be hidden within the word, the bid itself. And they say that you might be subject to an audit at one point, and so things of this nature. So you want to really zero in. So we add a couple different mechanisms to allow you to do that. First is every bid, every listing, every RFP, request for proposal, request for information, source of salt, state and local or federal solicitation levels of bid there that you'll find is there for you. And we give you these tools to help you. So this one's going to be a systems audit system in with medical related situation. This one, a consulting auditor, maybe consulting auditing. So every bid except itself will have a subcategorization to it. So we do this through a number of ways, including first taking it by codes of some sort, like the NAICS code, North American Industry Classification System code, which you'll be asked to give at the federal level. But there's about, I'd say about a good number of coding mechanisms across the country. The most prominent, of course, is that and the NIGP Commodity Code and the United Nations Standardization Product Service Code. You also have public service PSC codes and other types of coding systems that could be used. But we like to also take an old-fashioned, human eyeball kind of approach on every single bid and every RFP and making sure it's in the right categorization. And so that's important. So I'll point out a couple of things too when you see your information here. First, we're not showing you a speculative information. So it's not like I'm thinking about putting a new roof on my house, go out and get a quote and then never go through with it. Here, government has went through an elaborate decision-making process to decide that they need to have professional auditing services, sometimes years in the making, maybe a couple of years. In fact, most governments, like in this situation, will go out every 3 to 5 years and hire a new auditor. And so you can monitor that over time. So I point that out so that you're not wasting time. The other thing is that as you step into it, and this is something you should watch when you're checking systems, once you get down here to page 2, 3, or by page 5,000, it's still active. Okay, so it's not going to be a bunch of expired bids. So I think a lot of frustration that individuals have when they go to the SAM, System for Award Management, at the federal system, not a bidding platform, but an announcement, you'll see after the first couple that most of them can be expired. And so you're not wasting your time on expired bids. And a lot of us, if you're using some sort of AI tool to actually search, you'll find that you're presenting with bids, sometimes in phantom bids, but also bids that have been expired. And we don't have those. So I like to point that out again, so you're not wasting your time. And then, of course, the final thing I always like to point out, we're at the screen, is first is also to say we do not work specifically with any government. It's not that we dislike government, and there's some tools out there that do that. Sometimes they have sort of astronomical website terms and planets and stars and whatever. Those work directly with government and sit and wait, of course, for governments to publish, and we have chosen a path not to do that. We're kind of like a newspaper, an aggregator information, and we've been doing that since 1998. So we go and aggressively collect the information. That's an important distinction between us. It's not that we just like governments, and governments actually love us. About 80% of the bids and RFPs are posted directly by a government through some sort of API or some other mechanism to get there. But that 20% is a volume is significant. Every day can be about 1,000 different listings gathered by a research team on your behalf. And so with that said, that's sort of the tools. But whenever you actually get into it, at that point, we actually are showing you information about the bid, about the RFP, up to the point where we send you on your way and you go directly to the source through this external link. Capture, we have a capture management folder, of course, and then we also will show you on the map specifically where that particular bid is at. So you can say, I've got to get to a pre-bid meeting of some sort, things of this nature. So it's giving you tools to put bids in front of you to find the bid that is right for you. And I would just point out that when we get here, at this point, after you leave us, You go into work directly with the government. We step out of the way. And that's also a distinguishing factor, a differentiator for us. Is we're not engaged in that actual transaction. And that's important that we keep that arm's length relationship for all of our members. We have a lot of folks use us, and we treat everybody the same. So we share it's sort of a shared cooperative model. Now, while you get there, of course, we don't abandon you, and so we have other tools and services really to help you out. But here at home, and also our logo will drive you back to those search tools. The theme of what we're talking about today is how to search, and that's important that you're able to put the bid in front of you, the RP that really matches your business. Okay, let me just take a second to make sure everybody's coming in the room. That's good. And for those of us that are joining us, this is live on YouTube. And you can catch up with us by just going to our YouTube channel, which is right here, in fact, with that little YouTube symbol. When you click that, it'll get you hundreds of hours of videos. People like that about us. We like to make that kind of transparent approach to everything, all designed with that motto of teaching, and then you can do it yourself wherever. And I'll share that with you in just a second. But going back to our searching and finding, the first thing I like to do is point out this is a global search right in the middle, and it's built on a Boolean search technology. You may be asking, what is Boolean search? Well, this is really kind of the way we search before, the Googleization of things. So if you're accustomed to coming in and you say, okay, I want red and I want hat, and then the auditors, okay, well, what this really means is that you're looking for a red hat auditor, okay? So it's one word, one phrase together. Now you don't want to necessarily do that because I don't think there's probably any bids that have red hat auditors request. Yep, I was right. So there's not. Okay, what you might mean, and a lot of times when we go into Google or go into Yahoo, I'll keep saying Google, respect them so much, but not to trade on the name of anyway. But they basically, you're able to type in and they can go give you all kinds of search mechanisms. Big company, we can't quite do that. But we can say, so you can go in and say red or hat or auditor. So using those conjunctions or and restrictive has to have red and hat, can have red, not hat, or auditor. Okay, so these are the ways we search a live database. So if I do red or hat or auditor, then I'm going to search, I'm going to get more bids, actually some matches. That's good. Okay, you also will find that 1,000 of them, in fact. So there's a lot more bids. So I don't really want to have 1,000. That's too many. Okay, so we'll go back to my home screen, and if I just point out the one search words you like, you can save them over there. Okay, I'll do that now. So here, maybe I want to just go back and just say I want auditor and baking. Okay, so both of those words have to appear. It may not be somewhat restrictive in the way we do this, and so those two words appear. So there are about four of them. Excuse me, 27 of them. So there's a good number. Going to that map view, I can see where they're located at. Okay, so I got to a smaller universe. It's more manageable. And when I search that and I find this great keyword listing that I like, I can save them, and I'll show you how to pull those back up and run them anytime. It'll always show me the last one first. Now, if I tap into my app and I do that in my app, it's going to give me a different function, and it's going to allow me to see immediately without waiting on time what bids are posting, and also I can see what I'm looking at before. Okay, so that's there. So this gives me a very quick way. Now it tells you other information about the bid. Once again, an RFP tells you the industries are classified with, the state that it's in, the due date, and then the level of government. Okay. Now, as well as most of us like to work anywhere, probably if you're working in Kansas, you probably not care about the one in Maryland. So we give you some additional tools to help you really sort through that. So you back in your home account, and over the left-hand side, you're going to find your filters. Okay. Filtering does not work with global search. Okay. So if you type in a filter and then go over here and expect it to work together, it doesn't work together. It could be probably a little bit better explained by us, but as a tool, we're trying to give you more tools to really help you out. So with that said, when you go into the filters here, your keyword that you might be looking for here, let's just say I want banking, and then I also want it in just limiting to audit, and then I also only want California, and I could add other qualifiers, but if I do, then I get very restrictive, and it may just really not help me. Now, this becomes important. These additional qualifiers, when I'm looking, for example, for a service disabled veteran-owned small business contract, or maybe a woman-owned contract set aside, or maybe others. Okay, so that's what I might use that. But at first, let's start to see what we get there. Now, I would also point out that when you save your filter, you're going to have all your filters listed here. You can run them anytime. But if I run this here, then I hit over here, that start search over there, I'm not going to get any results that I want. Okay. So I have to come back over here on the left-hand side at the bottom, save the filter. And when I save it, it shows me those matches. Okay, trick there. I wish we could do everything in a user experience way that is much better and get everybody's attention, but it's sometimes impossible. But right there, that is a tool. Well, this right here is right the best filter for my RFP work that I could possibly do. So this is a really way to zero in on opportunities that can really match me. And so now I'm in the universe of three out of first I started 1,000, then I got down to about 600. Then I got down to, I think it was 27. Now I'm down to three that really zero in. So I'm zeroing in an opportunity that really can make it for me. And I have that, but I also save that filter. And then when I go back to my home screen, and when the future, I'm able to tap on that and go back in and take a look at my filters. And then I can run that, the banking one at any time here, there, apply the filter, and then it'll come up. Okay. So I can list those and you can keep as many filters as you like in that process, always showing the last one first. And frankly, what I do is about this time every day, I come in and run my filters. And when I do that, I can take a look and see what's been happening throughout the day. As you know, we start bids right at 12:01 a.m. Eastern time, and they start adding up throughout the day. We are already over about 3,000 today along. And they won't come out until tomorrow morning, but I can get an early lead by doing that. Now, in your settings category here, your option, when you click there on settings, you come across and you'll give you some options to actually drive your more your routine type items. For your say example, your daily alert. So if I was going in and I was really looking for bids related to accounting and auditing, I could come in and type that in there, and then I can save that. And at that point, it's going to drive not only my online system, but also my app. And then I could come in and choose my location preferences here. Check all if I want all, or maybe I'm just in Georgia. I'm here sitting in downtown Atlanta, so I want Georgia. I'm interested in that. Hit that, and so that will drive my alert from that point forward. Every morning, 4 a.m., it's going to ding on my phone, and my wife's going to yell at me. Yeah, I like to see what's happening. I got to keep on top of business. If you're like most of us, it's very important that we learn about our business as quickly as we can. And so that is they're available for you. Now, if I'm doing what she wants me to do, I'm gonna wait until I get up and I'm gonna come online and then potentially just run the alert or check it here and see what I would have had in my alert. In fact, it's gonna be organized in such a way that you can look at it over time. Okay, so I have all the ones that potentially forgot to check. We also do Canada. I had on different screen Canada. Okay, Georgia. They're the ones that I would have wanted to see that are active right now. Now, this looks and feels like in a linear way here online, but in my email, it's going to come across in my Gmail like a Gmail. Okay, it's going to give me all the details. But each of these with the ability to one, two, go to the original source. Three, I'm downloading my documents. Not having to register anywhere usually. Sometimes you'll have these, I call them pesky third-party full portals that have got some software that get to the government. The government requires you to register. You don't have to pay in those, but you may have to register, and that's actually probably a good thing. So then you can get an update if they should actually add something to that. But it is frustrating when they sort of close that off. It's not one of my favorite facts about government procurement. Okay, so there you go with that, but that will give you that in your home account. Now, if you saw there on that settings tab, you also see those other options, and will allow you to maintain not only your filters there, all of them together, but also your saved keyword searches. And once again, long string booleans can be allowed. Okay, let's just look at ones I've got the words or in. Okay, or and freight and not. So word somewhat specific, trucking or transportation, and the word freight, either one of those, and freight, but not dairy. Okay. I don't know if that's going to be something, but I was just demonstrating this one time. And so I can apply that and it'll run me. It'll tell me if there's a bid that matches me. Oh, there are. There's some bids. So I'm not interested in dairy and there. So we can come in and actually see that search. Now you may have something very specific, maybe a brand or maybe something that you really are watching for. That's a way to search in a specific way and with that process. So those are two really cool features that we allow you, three or four really cool features we allow you to do your searches with, and just a quick way to make sure you're staying on top of that. I would just point out GovSchool is where we list our classes each day. that would come up like this one here, and we will have one. And next week on disaster relief, it's getting that time of the year. We'll keep you informed on particular items. GovAdvice, a micro consulting platform. You need some assistance with things like writing your RFP responses, things of this nature. You can come in, and we have different levels of services. Specifically, what's somewhat unique to our company is our experiential process. So it's based on that true philosophy of teaching you, not holding you in, no long-term contracts. It's a basic concept of our business. We're not going to require you to do an annual membership. It's not working for you. We understand everybody's got different needs when they first start out. But that proverb, we believe it, teaching you. And then you can do it for a lifetime, but really driving home the whole process, because there's some advanced search techniques, indicators of success. And you can learn more about that and that whole process using at GovDirection, which is our primary brand, another easy way to search. But our prompt to win area, where you can come in and learn and using how to use Eagle Eye and the whole process itself of learning and we're teaching you the process of actually writing and doing some analysis on your bids, but understanding your goals, your indicators of success. Using those goals, you can come in, and once you take those three or four that we just showed, we really zeroed in on live opportunity. Come in to find what your goals are, going in and actually build your prompts that will need to help you, including your indicators, define what those are, how they matter, what are you actually looking for in your bids, in your RFPs, what really is the win for you. I've been doing this a while, some 30, you can tell, 30 plus years. I've worked on some 400 contracts that have been a part of in some 34 states. We had to really zero in to get to those 400 contracts out of thousands. Okay, actually probably more like tens of thousands now this time frame. And each day some 40,000. I think we have hit some 10 billion matches to our members is the number we've hit in the years. And so it's a lot of matching, but you got to really get in there and zero it in beyond the match to actually what are you truly looking for, weighting that. And now with technology, I've been doing this for years, decades, in fact. But with technology, I'm able to do it a lot faster. I can actually, while we're talking, I can download a document and have my model run and tell me if it's a good match without me having to go back and read it. And I even have a little fun with it and say, if it's a good search and a good find, you are the one I wanted to find. And this is the one I'm really going to go after. And if I get above a 90% or a 90 rating, it's an A. If I get A plus, that one A plus match, but I can get maximized benefit from it in terms of revenue stream for me. That's important. It's a business after all. It's all about money. And not all about money, but it's partially about money. Okay, and so that's there, and you really want to understand that. And if your membership is at RFP Delivery or at GovDirections, you can use these tools to really help you, and they're explained in a very simple way for you. And so with that, I want to thank you for coming to our YouTube channel, but also coming live to this room here. I'm going to stop the YouTube session, and then I'm going to come back, and I will answer any questions in the live room if you have any questions. Okay.